It's time for a Drunk Talk TV Music Industry News Desk Report.
Strap yourself in for where prohibited batteries not included, not available in State of Shock.
Hey everyone, welcome to another Drum Talk TV News Desk Report. Currently broadcasting Friday, November 21st, 2025. I'm Steven Schinder, and this is co-host Shiley Graff. How's it going, Shiley?
It's going great. I'm happy to see the weekend almost here. How are you, Steven?
I'm pretty good. Yeah. For viewers who, we're announcing this now. We're taking next week off because of the Thanksgiving break, but we'll be back December 5th for this. But in the meantime, we've got plenty to talk about. And since we have next week off, we'll also remind you all right now that from Black Friday through Cyber Monday, you'll be able to use our discount code DTTVBHALF. So that's pretty much DTTVB half. It's in the ticker that's scrolling at the bottom of the video. And if you use that code from Black Friday to Cyber Monday, 11:59 p.m. Pacific US time, it'll give you half off of the premium Drum Talk TV Brilliance membership. So that'll be $6 per month, $60 per year. And you'll have access to our archives of artist Q&As, and you'll also have other perks as well. And yeah, you'll be able to have access to upcoming Q&As as well as they come along. So yeah, great stuff. But now it is that time again.
Now it's time for
All right, so my icebreaker for you, Shiley, and for anyone in the audience, feel free to comment your answer. What is a song you really like that is about food? It doesn't have to be your top favorite out of that category, but just any that you like in that category that comes to mind.
Okay, this is really interesting. When you said that, the song that came to the top of my mind is the song called Chili Con Carne. I could not tell you who sings it right now. The reason I know this song is because my junior year of high school, it was the COVID year, I was in choir, and that was one of the songs that my choir teacher decided was a good idea to sing. And it is very catchy and it was actually pretty difficult at the time, but really fun. And if I think about it too hard, I will still get it stuck in my head to this day. So that is a fun little memory for me, as well as a fun, catchy song about food. How about you, Steven?
Yeah, and I just looked it up. It's by a group called The Real Group. So I guess that's how you know they're legit. They have real in their name. But for me, the one that came to mind when I thought of this question, it's from a show that I used to watch as a kid. I don't really watch it anymore, called VeggieTales. And the song, I think it was called Cheeseburger. And one of the vegetable characters was like sing this love song, this romance song about a cheeseburger, like this guy trying to get a cheeseburger. It's just so silly. It's just like it's pretty much a meme by this point, I think, whenever it gets brought up by anyone on the internet. But yeah, it's just a really funny song.
Oh, most certainly. I watched VeggieTales as a kid too, but most of the songs I can't really remember off the top of my head. So that is a good answer, though.
Right. So now we move on to the educational segment, looking back. So check
It's
this out.
time for This Day in Music History. Why not the whole week? Because we'd be here forever.
All right, kicking us off November 21st in 2004, Girls Aloud started a 2-week run at number 1 on the UK singles chart with their version of The Pretenders' I'll Stand By You. This was that year's single for the Children in Need appeal, and its proceeds all went towards that charity. I think that's a really great thing for a lot of artists to do, is produce a song, play it for a charity, and then donate all the proceeds from that song to the charity. I think that's just a beautiful way to use music for good.
Yeah, it's great when these artists take the time to do these selfless acts. So this next one from 2003, The acoustic guitar that Beatle George Harrison learned to play on was sold for £276,000 at a London auction. His father originally bought the instrument for George Harrison for £3.50. Another item auctioned was a signed invitation to the post-premiere celebrations for the Beatles' Hard Day's Night film, which was sold for £17,250. I've actually seen that film. It's a lot of fun. You know, it's in black and white, and you get to see like people chasing the Beatles in this fictional narrative inspired by real life. It's a lot of fun. But yeah, like what a historical item that, you know.
Oh yeah, certainly. And you know, those movies are always interesting, I think, to especially about the Beatles, to see what the Beatles craze was like back in its heyday. All right, jumping back to 1991, Aerosmith made a guest appearance on The Simpsons, adding to the long list of musical guests on the animated comedy. Others included the Red Hot Chili Peppers, the Smashing Pumpkins, Sonic Youth, U2, the Moody Blues, the B-52s, The Who, REM, Phish, Blink-182, Metallica, and the White Stripes. Man, that is a lineup of music acts to appear on The Simpsons, and that is I think that's the longest running animated show in history, I think, if I'm not mistaken. So
yeah, at least in the US, yeah, I would think so. It's been running for 36 years now, and it's still going to a point where people are wondering, is it ever gonna have an end in sight? But with a show with that much longevity, you're bound to have like these many guest voices, which is really interesting. So in 1988, former Led Zeppelin guitarist Jimmy Page embarked on his first ever UK solo tour. In his endeavor, late former bandmate John Bonham's son Jason Bonham accompanied Page's act on drums. That's really cool.
Yeah, it's always interesting and very exciting when a family member of someone who we've lost can kind of step in and pay homage to the former band member. So really beautiful thing. In 1983, Michael Jackson's 14-minute music video for Thriller premiered in Los Angeles. The video, like the song, contains a spoken word performance by horror film veteran Vincent Price and was filmed primarily at the Palace Theater in downtown LA. However, the zombie dance sequence was recorded at the junction of Union Pacific Avenue and South Calzona Street, and the final house scene was recorded in the Angelino Heights neighborhood at 1345 Carroll Avenue. Very interesting to always see the sort of history, and obviously LA is where Hollywood is and has a lot of film history there. But, you know, it's always fun to hear about the exact places and landmarks within the city for these things.
Yeah, definitely. So in 1975, at the beginning of Elton John Week in Los Angeles, the British pop icon received a star on Hollywood's Walk of Fame. So again, you know, we're talking about Hollywood stuff here.
Yeah. And in 1971, exactly 4 years before he was bestowed that great honor, Elton John kicked off a 13-date UK tour at the Coventry Theatre to promote his new album, Madman Across the Water. Janice Larkham, the wife of the album art director David Larkham, embroidered the album cover using the back of an old Levi's jacket, gifting it to the singer. That's really exciting. That takes, I think, a lot of talent to embroider something like that, and I'm sure that is a gift that Elton John has cherished since then.
Yeah, I'm sure. And in 1970, 2 months after his passing, Jimi Hendrix was at #1 on the UK singles chart with Voodoo Child, Slight Return, the closing track on Electric Ladyland, which of course was the third and final album by the Jimi Hendrix Experience. This song was also the guitarist's only UK #1 single, and his solo on the track was named the 11th greatest solo of all time in Guitar World's 100 Greatest Guitar Solos. Yeah, it's amazing what Jimi Hendrix was able to do within that short span that his career unfortunately had. I remember about 15 years ago, I was in high school, and some unreleased Hendrix material was put together in this posthumous release, an album called, I think it was called Valley of Neptune. So that was a huge deal. You know, it always is when you uncover these things.
Oh, certainly. And in 1960, the Beatles played a gig at the Kaiser Keller Club in Hamburg, Germany, without George Harrison. The guitarist had been deported that day as he was underage, at 17 years old, and was not legally allowed to remain in a nightclub after midnight. I think that's really interesting. It is a reminder of how young the Beatles were when they got their start. And, it's always sort of interesting to see how different clubs will enforce their rules for the band. You would think that if you were paying a band to be there, you would kind of let the rules slide a little bit.
Yeah, like I always forget how young they were, and I'm sure, it must have been a really stressful situation, but hey,
Certainly.
But speaking of music memories and history, you listeners, viewers, anyone watching can get the personalized hardcover concert journal from Medley Merch. So check out this video all about that.
What concert would be your first entry if you had an ultimate concert journal? Your most recent concert? Your next concert? Or would you go way back like me and enter your first concert? For me, it was Led Zeppelin. Now you can with the I Was There personalized music performance diary premium hardcover book. This is for all live music fans who experience live shows from clubs to stadiums. And what an amazing keepsake, and it makes a great gift. Use Drum Talk TV 25 at checkout for a one-time 25% discount, so load up. Get yours now via the link in the post.
Right. And folks, now we go into the section about Drum Talk TV and Drum Talk TV brilliance. And again, Black Friday through Cyber Monday, use the discount code in the ticker below, DTTVBHALF. But yeah, here we go with this segment right about now.
Let's see what's in the news at Drum Talk TV. Yeah.
All right, for the month of November, we have not one, but two new drumming challenges. Show us your chops and submit your videos to the Joe Morello Tribute Drumming Challenge and or the Mike Portnoy Tribute Drumming Challenge. Winners have a chance to win music store gift certificates of up to $125 US and a chance to be interviewed on Drum Talk TV. Check out the information for the challenges in these videos.
Show us your jazz chops in the Joe Morello Tribute Drumming Challenge, going up to 11:59 p.m. Pacific on November 30th, 2025. Win up to $125 worth of prizes at DrumTalkTVBrilliance.com. Play along to any official tracks from Joe Morello's discography and submit for a chance to win certificates to favorite music stores, Drum Talk TV t-shirts that ship in the US, and a Drum Talk TV interview. All the info, rules, and judging criteria are on the site. Free members can submit 2 videos per challenge. Premium members can submit as many as they like. Go to DrumTalkTVBrilliance.com. Take part in the Mike Portnoy Tribute Drumming Challenge, going up to 11:59 p.m. Pacific on November 30th. Win up to $125 worth of prizes. Play along to any official tracks from anything in Mike's discography and submit for a chance to win certificates to favorite music stores, Drum Talk TV t-shirts that ship in the US, and a Drum Talk TV interview. All the info, rules, and judging criteria are on the site. Free members can submit 2 videos per challenge. Premium members can submit as many as they like. Go to DrumTalkTVBrilliance.com.
All right, and this month has been a very busy one here at Drum Talk TV, especially on Brilliance. This past week, we had 3 fan Q&A sessions featuring Nico McBrain of Iron Maiden, Neil Smith, drummer for Alice Cooper, and Rich Redmond, drummer for Jason Aldean. If you couldn't make it to any of these sessions, don't fret. You can sign up to be a premium member over at DrumTalkTVBrilliance.com to access these sessions, as well as our entire catalog of fan Q&As, interviews, musician fun facts, and more.
Yes, and on Tuesday, we had our music-themed game show. This time, it was a game of majority rules, where people got more points if they selected whichever answer they thought most of the players present would choose. A few thousand have watched our game show streams live on Facebook and YouTube, and we've drawn a few hundred players this past year. Very exciting.
Yeah, and join us for another game show Tuesday, December 2nd at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern US times. Come for some fun because you're about to get overwhelmed by holiday shopping, madness, and family. This time, it's a multi-genre mixed bag of trivia. Come answer questions on different decades of rock, pop, soul, hip-hop, metal, prog, and jazz. Come flex your knowledge and learn at the same time. We've seen people win just by guessing, so give it a shot. And you can visit drumtalktvbrilliance.com, navigate to the events page, and RSVP for the show, so the game link will be sent directly to your inbox the day of the game. So definitely check the events calendar on their site.
Definitely. The third episode of Plugged Into Hearing Health, which was scheduled for this week, is being rescheduled for sometime in December due to something that came up. In the meantime, looking ahead to the first week of December, during which we have scheduled Dan's interview with Drumming Challenge participant Marcelo Sagizi on Wednesday, December 3rd, 12 p.m. Pacific, and then Dan's interview with Nick DiVirgilio that same day at 2 p.m. Pacific. Nick has drummed for Steve Hackett, Genesis, Big Big Train, Spock's Beard, and more.
Right, and over on Yes Shift this past Monday, the prog rock vlog / podcast I do with Dad. Dad and I actually reviewed the Steve Hackett concerts we each saw. He saw it in Phoenix, I saw it in Los Angeles, and we were very impressed with Steve, Nick, and the rest of the band. We might do another concert review sometime after we see Robert Plant and his band Saving Grace tomorrow night. And yesterday, I had fellow Yes fans Simon Barrow and Miguel Falcao on the show to talk about early Yes internet fandom. Miguel hosts the annual Play for Chris online celebrations, and Simon has written a Yes-related book called Solid Mental Grace and revealed details about how he's expanding that book for a future edition and how he's working on a Yes in the 1990s book, which is an interesting period for the band. We also touched on news of the upcoming Yes Symphonic Live re-release, and I might do another Yes Shift News Desk edition before the end of this month. There's some things here and there that I've seen, and I'm sure more stuff will come out to talk about. And then Thursday, December 4th, we have 2 Yes Shift interviews. First, we have Trey Gunn of King Crimson. He was in King Crimson for a bit and also in a few of the offshoots, and he plays Chapman stick and war guitar. So that'll be December 4th at 10 a.m. Pacific. And then we have the Gottlieb brothers, the photographers for Yes, and we'll be talking with them about their new Yes Stuff books at 5 p.m. Pacific that day, December 4th. All right, so now we go into this next segment here.
And now a moment to acknowledge those who have passed.
All right. Todd Snyder, satirical folk singer-songwriter, passed away on Friday, November 14th, the New York Times reported. According to his publicist, the cause of death was pneumonia. While hits like All Right Guy earned him an alternative fan base, early in his career, John Prine and Jimmy Buffett took him under their wing, having a considerable influence on his music. Over the course of his career, Snyder released at least 15 albums, capturing a variety of emotions and captivating fans with his wry, sharp-eyed sense of humor. His final album, High, Lonesome, and Then Some, was released last month, and despite concerns about debilitating back pain and other health issues, he wanted to tour. Quote, "I at least want to do it one more time," he told Rolling Stone of his recent tour, adding, quote, "I told my team that I want this tour to be the funnest one." He was 59 years old.
Yeah, and 59 is, relatively feels too soon, especially since we know people around that age. So, it's really sad that happened. But next up, let me just make sure I pull this up. Okay, there we go. That photo should look good. So Gary Manny Mounfield, bassist for the Stone Roses, passed away this week, Billboard reported. His brother Greg and the Stone Roses singer Ian Brown both confirmed the news on social media with brief rest in peace posts, and a cause of death has not been revealed. Manny joined the Stone Roses in 1987, and in 1989 the group released their self-titled debut album, which peaked at number 5 on the UK official albums chart. That album is also credited for inspiring a number of bands from the local area, including Oasis. A legal battle with the band's label and group tensions following their second album led them to call it quits in 1996, at which point Manny went on to join the Scottish band Primal Scream. He played bass with them until 2011 and also formed the group Freebase with Andy Rourke of The Smiths and Peter Hook of Joy Division and New Order, releasing one studio LP in 2010. The Stone Roses reformed in 2011, playing a number of shows in Manchester in 2012, and released their first single in 20 years in 2016. Just last week, Manny announced a UK speaking tour titled The Stone Roses, Primal Scream, and Me, an intimate evening with Gary Manny Mounfield. The tour was set to begin in September 2026 and run through June 2027. Manny was 63 years old at the time of his passing. So that's really unfortunate that he had those plans lined up and, just, is not able to do it anymore. So it's a real shame there.
Yeah, most certainly.
Right. So next up, we go into music industry news.
Now let's see what's been going on this week in the music industry.
All right, folks, the music charts have spoken, and it is apparently officially the holiday season. Kelly Clarkson's Christmas hit, Underneath the Tree, from 2013, re-entered the Billboard music chart this week, taking spot number 41, according to Parade. This is reportedly the song's earliest return to the charts for the holiday season, and fans on social media are reacting, with one posting, quote, "I'm smelling a number 1 peak position this year." Last year, the hit single reached its highest chart position yet, peaking at number 9 on January 4th, 2025, and has charted on Billboard for a total of 33 weeks, though that number will continue to climb in the coming months. That's very exciting news. I have not quite yet broken out the Christmas music. I'm waiting a little longer until I'm, a little closer to getting home from college for the semester. But this is really exciting, and I do certainly hope that this song and others like it will climb to the charts and just do so well this year.
Yeah, I don't really listen to the radio as much as I used to, so I'm not as bombarded by holiday music. But, on Instagram, when friends put like a note or whatever, they can like put a song. I've noticed that like one of my friends, like each day for the last week or so, has been putting like a different holiday song. So I guess that's kind of my way of getting bombarded by it now. All right. So this next bit of news, Richie Blackmore, founding member of both Deep Purple and Rainbow, announced earlier this week that he asked to cancel his remaining shows for 2025, citing medical reasons, according to Parade. Blackmore co-founded Deep Purple in the 70s before quitting to found Rainbow. After Rainbow broke up in the 80s, Richie rejoined Deep Purple, and in the late 90s went on to form the folk rock group Blackmore's Night. The act was set to play a handful of gigs in November for its 2025 autumn tour, but postponed 2 shows earlier this month for, quote, medical reasons, unquote. Back in April, Blackmore's wife Candace Knight told Total Rock that he had suffered a heart attack in 2023 and had 6 stents put in. Quote, "I can't believe he's going to be 80 on April 14th, which is crazy. He doesn't look it, still doesn't act it, but eventually medical things wind up catching up with you," she said in an interview. She shared he also has struggles with gout and back issues, but he still wanted to get back on the road this year. So again, another example of how we have to make sure our, medical related things are in check. And, even though we may feel somewhat young, even when high up in age. Health always comes first.
Yes, certainly. And it is very sweet and wonderful that he still feels like he wants to do this and that he is enjoying his career still at this point. So, yeah, just got to remember to keep up with your health. All right, next news item. NPR's latest installment of their show Tiny Desk checked off a major first for iconic 90s band Goo Goo Dolls, Parade reported. The band played timeless tracks like Iris and Here Is Gone on the stripped-down intimate stage, set up to look like a small office featuring the show's namesake, a tiny desk. During the performance, frontman John Rzeznik shared that the setup made him a bit nervous, saying, quote, "I'm a little nervous because we could all be on a first-name basis. This is intimidating." Rzeznik was joined by bassist and original member Robbie Takic, Jimmy McGorman on piano, Brad Fernquist on guitar, and Craig McIntyre on drums, playing a 19-minute gig. The set included songs new and old, fitting for the band, as their song Iris re-entered the Spotify Top 50 global chart, sitting in the top 10 currently. Additionally, the band also re-entered the Billboard Artist 100 chart recently. Very exciting news for this band. Iris is one of the most, I think, recognizable songs, and it's still, very important and big even for Gen Z this far out from its release. So it's exciting that they're still getting recognition for their masterpiece.
Right. And Tiny Desk, that's huge. I haven't watched Tiny Desk that much, but hearing about the artists that have been there, it's that's quite the honor there. So Motley Crue announced this week the 2026 North American tour dates, honoring multiple milestones for the iconic heavy metal band, Parade reported. Not only will the tour mark the 20th anniversary of the group's live album Carnival of Sins, but will also mark their 45th anniversary as a band. Tickets went on sale this morning, November 21st at 10 a.m. local. A portion of ticket sales will be donated to charity. The tour is set to kick off on July 17, 2026 in Burgettstown, Pennsylvania, and will wrap on September 26th in Ridgefield, Washington, taking the band across the U.S. and into Toronto, Canada, briefly for a show on July 22nd. And again, it's nice that some of that is going to charity. It's always nice when that happens.
Yes, certainly. Last weekend's edition of Saturday Night Live was hosted by actor Glenn Powell, who showcased an old homemade music video from his teen years, Parade reported. The music video, set to Fall Out Boy's Sugar We're Going Down, was a low-resolution creation in which young Powell runs down the street and belts out the lyrics while wearing a sailor hat. During his monologue, Powell said, quote, "Even when I was a teen, I directed some of my own films. They were a little experimental, emotionally nuanced. I was watching a lot of French New Wave at the time. I think you'll see the influence." That's not where the story ends, however. Fall Out Boy saw the clip and reposted it to their social media with the caption, quote, "Want to direct the next FOB music video at Glenn Powell?" Fans quickly flooded the comments, with one commenting, "Now that's a collab I need to see." That's very exciting news for me personally. As many of you may know, Fall Out Boy is my absolute favorite band of all time. And seeing the clip and seeing the little bit of the music video that he shared was quite funny. And to be completely honest, it wasn't that far off from what Fall Out Boy's music videos from that time period looked like. So I think it would be a really fun collab now that everyone's matured and time has gone on. And so, yeah, I mean, it's also exciting to know that Fall Out Boy is still planning to continue even, 22 years after their debut. So,
yeah, and it's nice that the internet makes it easier for collabs like this to possibly happen. So we'll have to keep an eye out on that. All right, so Robert Plant has successfully registered the iconic feather symbol from Led Zeppelin's fourth album as a trademark in the United States. Led Zepp News reported that this comes nearly a year after Plant submitted the application and several months after he received trademark registration in the UK and Europe in March and April, respectively. The design, described in U.S. trademark filings as stylized design depicting a feather inside of a circle, was featured on the inner sleeve of the band's fourth album and has since been depicted on official merchandise. Currently, the design is featured on a new range of Saving Grace merch being sold in venues hosting his current North American tour. Jimmy Page and the family of John Bonham have also trademarked their own symbols from that album, with Page's trademark being granted in 2008 and Bonham's trademark secured in 2019. So I'll have to keep an eye out for that symbol when Dad and I see that concert tomorrow night.
Certainly. Iconic 1970s rock acts Foreigner and Lynyrd Skynyrd are joining forces to embark on a new tour dubbed the Double Trouble Double Vision Tour. Parade reported that these groups will hit 19 stops across North America next year, kicking off in Atlanta, Georgia on July 23rd and wrapping up on August 29th in Rogers, Arkansas. However, neither act has an original band member in their current tour lineup. Several original members of Lynyrd Skynyrd died in a plane crash in 1977, but the band reformed in 1987, featuring Johnny Van Zant, the brother of original singer Ronnie Van Zant, Ricky Medlock, who played with the band in 1971 and 72, and founding guitarist Gary Rosington. The band announced a farewell tour in 2018, but kept touring even after Rosington passed away from a heart attack in 2023. Foreigner similarly staged a farewell tour in 2023 that wrapped last year, but the act has continued to soldier on. Founding member Mick Jones retired from touring in 2024 due to his Parkinson's diagnosis, leaving the group with no original members. However, founding singer Lou Gramm has made occasional appearances with the group since their induction into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 2024. Members from both acts have expressed their excitement for the new tour and are looking forward to getting out there on the road.
Yeah, that's quite the bill there, both of those bands. All right, Creedence Clearwater Revival's frontman John Fogerty has still got it. Parade reported that the rock icon recently performed a 1969 single Green River on The Late Show with Stephen Colbert at 80 years old. Fans flooded social media with a multitude of compliments, with one commenter writing, 80 years old, and the guy still nails it exactly like he did when he wrote it. Unfreaking believable. During his interview, Fogerty shared that while fan praise of the band's music hadn't dwindled, his self-esteem did because of losing the rights to the music to Fantasy Records in 1980 to get out of a contract. In 2023, after years of fighting, he gained the rights back. And during the interview with Colbert, he said, I won't go into that long, sad story, but for years and years, I just felt kind of like a sap, a sucker. Getting those rights back was, quote, an instant esteem booster, unquote, and it showed during his performance. Yeah, I can imagine, not having the rights to stuff you worked on. That can take a toll, especially if it lasts that long. But it's really happy to hear that, he has those rights and it seems to maybe, affecting his mood in a very positive way. So that's great to hear.
Yes, definitely. And it's always exciting to hear a pretty iconic musician coming back, even in their old age, to do what they still love this many years after the fact. So very exciting news. Brian May, the legendary guitarist of Queen, opened up about his health for the first time since a health scare in 2024. Parade reported that May did an interview on Love Your Weekend with Alan Titchmarsh, where he spoke about the several health scares he has had over the years, including a minor stroke last year. Quote, I've had a number of things. Yeah, the stroke was one of them, he explained on the episode. I've been lucky. I get these things, but I seem to be able to get out of them. They give you a wake-up call. Now, May focuses on his health and gets plenty of exercise in, and his doctors say that he's doing the right things. Very glad to hear this and to hear that he's on the up and up. Obviously, again, we've talked about this many times in the past, even earlier today. Prioritizing your health is very important. And I think what May has been doing is, doing exercise and doing all of these right things so that he's still in shape to play his music and just have the best time as he can with any music gigs that he books.
Right. And Pink Floyd has some exciting developments expected before the year's end. Louder Sound magazine reported that the iconic rock band shared a brand new video for Shine On a Crazy Diamond as one continuous piece of music for the very first time. The series is a 9-part composition featured on their 1975 album Wish You Were Here, and this new version features a brand new stereo mix from James Guthrie. The new music video features comedian, actor, and artist Noel Fielding painting one of several portraits of Syd Barrett, the band's founding member who exited the group in 1968. Fielding shared his own admiration for Barrett, stating that when he began doing stand-up, he took inspiration from him and his work. The 50th anniversary edition of their 1975 album is also due to release December 12th via Sony Music. The set will have a deluxe version as well as a Blu-ray version featuring 3 concert screen films from the band's 1975 tour, plus a Storm Thorgerson short film, and on 3 LP and 2 CD formats, which include the original album and 9 studio bonus tracks. Yeah, this is, one of the most iconic Pink Floyd albums, I would say, and I love how emotional the music on this gets. It's just so memorable. It's a great album.
Yeah, most certainly, and it's always exciting to see these 50th anniversary.
I'm sure some of the older folks want to hear that's the 20th or 25th.
Yes, absolutely, but the 50th anniversary sets are very exciting, and we've had many of them come out this year. For the first time in over a decade, the 2 surviving Beatles are both reportedly releasing solo albums in 2026. Parade reported that Ringo Starr announced his plans to finish another album after he wrapped his most recent tour back in September. He shared that he is aiming for February 2026 release, but noted that, quote, "the record label may change my mind." Meanwhile, Paul McCartney has reportedly been hard at work in the studio, making his first studio album since 2020. According to The Sun, the album is about 90% complete, and while McCartney originally hoped to release the record earlier, creative timelines shifted, but he's, quote, "really proud of the work that has been done." This is very exciting. Obviously, 2 of the 4 left, and they're still making music and making big headlines, and it's, this will be, again, the first time that they've done this since, I think, 2016, so that will be a big, big year for Beatles fans.
Yeah, and I admit that the solo output from Ringo and Paul are kind of a blind spot for me. I've heard some of the solo stuff from George and John, but yeah, maybe that's something I need to rectify in the near future. Get familiar with some of that solo catalog I haven't listened to. All right, so one of Kurt Cobain's guitars will be heading to auction early next year. Parade reported that the Nirvana frontman's teal-colored left-handed 1969 Fender Competition Mustang will be included in an auction held by Christie's Auction House in March 2026. The auction will sell the music memorabilia collection owned by Indianapolis Colts owner Jim Irsay, who died in May 2025. Cobain played the instrument while recording their albums Nevermind and In Utero, and it made an appearance in the Smells Like Teen Spirit music video. The guitar has some damage from Cobain's playing, but it is in much better condition than many instruments he used during his career, due to his habit of smashing guitars on stage. Julian's Auctions sold the guitar to Irsay back in 2022 for over $4 million, which at the time was the highest amount paid for an electric guitar. Wow, that's wild.
Yeah, certainly. That is a hefty price, but, we'll have to see and keep an eye on this and see how much it actually goes for in the future.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so now we've reached that time, folks.
Here's a reminder of what's coming up soon on Drum Talk TV.
All right, so don't forget to submit your drumming challenge videos for the Joe Morello and or the Mike Portnoy challenges by November 30th, 11:59 p.m. Pacific U.S. time. Free members can submit 2 videos to each challenge over at drumtalktvbrilliance.com, and premium members over there can submit as many as they'd like.
And visit our website to RSVP to the next game show on Tuesday, December 2nd at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern. Join us for a multi-genre mixed bag of trivia and have some fun.
And mark your calendars for Black Friday through Cyber Monday, when you'll be able to use the discount code DTTVB half. Again, it's, spelled HALF, that back half of it. It's in the ticker scrolling at the bottom of the video. So yeah, definitely check that out. And you'll get $6 per month or $60 per year, depending on if you choose a monthly option or the yearly option when you sign up from Black Friday through Cyber Monday with that code. All right. So again, that's it for now. We're taking a Thanksgiving week off, but we'll be back December 5th with, I'm sure, much more news to talk about. I'll probably have some thoughts on Wicked for Good, I'm sure. Like, I'm seeing that tonight, and yeah, it should be fun.
Very exciting. And thank you folks for watching, and have a fantastic and wonderful weekend.